Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Dear class, today's lecture consists of following three small topics. Number one, toxicity values and toxicity rating scale. Number two, routes of administration of a poison. Number three, factors affecting toxicity of poisons. Now, out of these three, you will find topic number 2 and 3 in Parik. But the first topic, toxicity rating scale, is not given in the book, and I have taken it from some other source. But you can definitely listen and save it from this lecture. And all these three are important and asked in exam. The first topic is toxicity values. Now, what is toxicity? As you know, toxicity means the quality of being poisonous. And what is value? Value means how much quantity of a chemical is considered poison. Now, toxicity is routinely expressed by LD50 value. What is LD50 value? This I am going to describe in the next slide. So, remember that LD50 is a toxicity value, and there are two things important about LD50. Number one, what is it? Number two, what are its uses? So, LD means lethal dose, while ED means effective dose. So, what is lethal dose? Lethal dose is a dose of a drug or chemical or poison that is able to cause big harm, or it can cause death. So, it means a value or concentration of a chemical required to produce death in 50% of animals exposed to it. So, I again repeat, LD50, it's a value or concentration of a chemical or drug required to produce death in 50% of animals exposed to it. So, it's used on animals, and why it's used on animals? Because we can't put humans in danger. We have to do LD50 experiments on animals, and then we will need it for manufacturing of drug. So what are its uses? Use number one is it is used extensively to categorize toxic dose of a chemical or drug, and is variable upon age, sex, weight, and condition of the stomach. So, number one use of LD50 is to categorize toxic dose of a drug. Number two, second use is that it is compared with ED50. As I told you, ED50 is a median dose of a chemical that is therapeutically effective in 50% of subjects receiving it. So, from this second use is the comparison between LD50 and ED50. Now, why we do this comparison? From this comparison, margin of safety of chemical is established, which is called the therapeutic index, or TI. So, actually, pharmaceutical companies want to know the therapeutic index, so which is a safety window in which it is a safe range in which a dose is determined so that it doesn't give harm to patients. So how there is a formula to determine therapeutic index or TI. It is LD50 divided by ED50. So if you know LD50 and ED50, you can get therapeutic index. Next is toxicity rating scale. So in toxicity, we have discussed so far what is toxicity, what is value, and what is LD50, what is ED50, and what is therapeutic index. Now toxicity rating scale, what is it? Over the years, our toxicity rating scale has been used to provide a qualitative figure describing severity of expected toxicity of a poison or drug based on mortality. So it may seem difficult, but qualitative figure means, like in the next slide you will come across these words: non-toxic, slightly toxic, moderately toxic, very toxic, extremely toxic, and super toxic. These are qualitative terms for describing severity of any drug or chemical. So, and this is needed for pharmaceutical manufacturing. Higher the toxicity rating of a poison, more toxic it is. So there is grading from non-toxic to super toxic. There are 6 grades of toxicity. So higher the toxicity rating, the drug or chemical may be more poisonous or more harmful. A typical rating scale I am going to show in the next slide. Now this is toxicity rating of a poison or scale. So you find 2 columns. One column on your left side is heading is useful fatal dose, and on right side is toxicity rating of that poison or drug. And so grading starts. Number 1, and you know what is fatal dose? Fatal dose is a dose which can kill a person who uses that amount, that quantity of a dose which can kill someone. That is called fatal dose. So if the fatal dose of some drug or chemical is more than 15 gram per kg, then it's not fatal. It's practically non-toxic. So this is grade number 1 on scale. This is number 1. Number 2, if the fatal dose of a drug ranges from 5 to 15 grams per kg, then the second grade, this is upper grade than the first one, this drug is slightly toxic. Not very toxic, not moderately toxic, but slightly toxic. Third grade is 0.5 to 5 gram per kg fatal dose, means this drug or chemical is moderately toxic. If the fatal dose further decreases, that is 50 milligram to 500 milligram range per kg range, then this drug is very toxic. And this is number 4 on grading scale. Now on number 5 is when the fatal dose of that drug is between 5 to 50 milligram per kg, then it is extremely toxic. This is grade number 5. And last grade, top toxic grade is number 6, which is also called super toxic, and here the fatal dose is less than 5 milligram per kg. So as you will see, as the fatal dose, quantity of fatal dose decreases, the toxicity rating goes up. So this is toxicity rating scale. Next, that was all about first topic, the toxicity rating scale. Next topic, very small, is route of administration of a poison or routes of administration of poisons. So you know, as a drug or chemical or poison doesn't go automatically to gets inside the body unless it is carried to its site of action and to exert its pharmacological effects. So how it is carried to that site, how it gets inside body and biological system. So this journey depends upon different routes of their administration given below. So route number one is enteral or oral or GIT or ingestion. That means a drug or chemical is ingested through mouth and it goes to body via GIT. Route number 2 is parenteral. That means it is not through GIT but it is through injection. Now injection can be intravenous, intramuscular, subcutaneous, intraarterial, intraperitoneal and intrathecal. So these are various types of injections or poisons or drugs can be injected through these routes. Route number 3 of a poison to get inside body is by inhalation. Inhalation means it is inhaled through nostrils and airways, so the poison or chemical or drug uses respiratory passage to get inside body. Route number 4 is by external application on skin, that will also slowly absorb. Route number 5 is by natural orifices of the body, that is eyes, ears, anus, vagina, etc. Route number 6 is by sublingual route, that is drug or poison is placed under the tongue and it is absorbed right from there. So these are 6 routes of administration of a poison or drug or chemical to a biological system or body. After that, the third topic is factors which modify action of poisons. It is same, you can call, the question is very frequently asked in prof and you may get like that what are the factors which modify action of poisons, or you may be asked name the factors or describe the factors which influence the toxicity of a poison or factors which affect the toxicity of poisons. So all these mean the same thing. So coming to the answer of these questions, first there is some brief discussion that poisons don't always follow the textbook description given in the books for their signs and symptoms and effects. So they are not typically seen as given in the book. Signs and symptoms which are pathognomonic to that particular poison may or may not be evident. The victims or patients, those who are exposed or get those poisons, display a behavior which is unexpected and unpredictable, because they don't get the typical symptoms, they get some other symptoms which is unexpected. Now, the doctors who are examining them should always keep in mind when evaluating a victim's response to a chemical, drug, or poison that there are numerous factors which may modify or change the effect of a poison. So, doctors should know these factors are important to understand and they have to consider them while treating the patients. Now, what are those factors? In this slide, you will find a list of factors which are 13 in number here. You will find in the book there are around 7 factors or 8, but I have added to them from some other sources. So, if you are asked to enlist those factors, then you can enlist these. Number 1 is dose. Number 2, composition of a toxic agent or poison. Number 3, pH of the poison or chemical. Number 4, form of poison. Number 5, method of administration of poison. Number 6, condition of the stomach. Number 7, age of the victim or patient of poisoning. Number 8, sex of the patient or victim. Number 9, genetics of the patient or victim. Number 10, health of victim or patient. Number 11, temperature of the body of the victim. Number 12, sleep and intoxication in the victim. And number 13, occupation of the person or victim or patient. So these are the 13 factors which affect the toxicity of a poison. Next is I take up them one by one, or important ones at least I discuss here. So you also get a question on dose, the number 1 factor, which is very important or rather most important, and you generally get a university question on it also. So, what is dose? Dose is quantity of a drug or chemical taken. Generally, large dose has more toxic effects and small dose has less toxic effect or maybe non-toxic. But there are certain exceptions to this general rule. That means even a very small dose may be much more toxic or fatal. So this is important. Only generally dose depends on quantity, but there are some exceptions which are really important, and that is why the question is asked, usually asking those exceptions. So what are those exceptions? They are 6. Number 1, idiosyncrasy. Number 2, allergy. Number 3, habit. Number 4, synergism. Number 5, large versus small dose. And number 6, cumulative effect. So number 1 is idiosyncrasy. So now what is idiosyncrasy? Some people have inherent intolerance to certain drugs and foods, causing intense symptoms. So these drugs are aspirin, morphine, cocaine, or foods like eggs, milk, and shellfish. If patient takes, suppose the patient takes 1 aspirin tablet for headache, then he will become unconscious. Then certainly it is an example of idiosyncrasy. Otherwise, 1 dose of aspirin can't do any harm, such big harm to patient. Second is allergy. Some people are allergic to certain drugs. So what is allergy? Allergy is hypersensitivity acquired as a result of previous administration of toxic agent. For example, penicillin. So if somebody is allergic to penicillin, the first injection, when he gets first injection, he will not get allergic to that, no allergic reaction. But if he goes for second injection after some time, some days or gap, then there are already antibodies produced against penicillin. So body takes it as foreign element. So body has become allergic. So this is called acquired hypersensitivity, while idiosyncrasy was inherent, inborn. So that is the difference between the two. Number 3 is habit. Habit means decreased effect than initial original effect of a certain drug or poison. Now, why this habit? Why the effect decreases than the original effect? Because of tolerance. A tolerance develops gradually in people. For example, those who consume alcohol or opium or tobacco, after some time they develop tolerance, and then they need more dose, more quantity to get the same effect. So this is called habit. Next is synergism. When the two poisons or drugs are taken simultaneously in non-toxic doses, they may cause toxic symptoms. So their final response or effect is greater than sum of their individual response. Example is alcohol and barbiturates. If alcohol and barbiturates are taken separately in non-toxic dose, they will not give any harm. But when taken simultaneously in non-toxic dose, even in non-toxic dose, they will cause harm due to synergism. Next is large versus small dose. A large dose of a drug or poison acts differently than a small dose of same drug. For example, arsenic in large dose will cause shock, and in small dose will cause GIT irritation. Last one exception is cumulative effect. So generally the poisons or drugs, when they are taken by someone, they pass through different processes and finally they leave the body, they are eliminated. But some poisons are slowly eliminated from the body, hence they tend to accumulate in it. They tend to deposit in tissues. So their repeated intake, even in small dose, results in chronic poisoning. Examples are metallic poisons like arsenic, mercury and lead, and other poisons like carbon monoxide, digitalis and barbiturates. They, even in small amount, can cause chronic poisoning. So that was about dose. Next factor is composition of toxic agent. That means factor number 2 in the list. Sometimes the commercial products contains more than one substances. For example, insecticides or the chemicals used to kill insects, mosquitoes and others, but they don't contain just one simple toxic agent. They have more than one. Like they also contain kerosene oil as solvent. So then that means they are not pure poison, they are mixed. So that is why they don't manifest their typical effects. The effects may vary in the patient. Number 3 factors which can modify action of poison is pH. As you know, pH, what is pH you already know in biochemistry. So substances with extremes of pH, such as strong acids and strong alkalis. You know what are strong acids, as are been discussed in corrosives by the Professor Sahab. So strong acid and strong alkalis, they are much more toxic because of extremes of pH, because strong acids have very low pH and strong and alkalis have also very low pH. while some they are more toxic, and those which have high in between pH, like they are like weak acids and alkalis, they are less toxic than those which have extremes of pH. Next is factor number 4 is form of poison. The poison can be, I will discuss it under 3 headings: physical state of a poison, chemical combination, and mechanical combination. So in physical state there are 3 states of a poison: solid, liquid, and gas. So poison in gaseous forms or vapors are more toxic than in liquid form, and which is in turn is more toxic than in solid state. So gaseous forms are more toxic than liquids, and liquids are more toxic than solids. Now coming to chemical combination, when substances interact chemically, their toxicity changes. Like two poisonous substances may become inert, that means neutral, when combined with each other. Like when acids and alkalis they combine, they become neutral and they lose their poisoning effect or toxicity. Then some poisons in non-toxic doses become toxic, such as alcohol and barbiturate. If they are non-toxic separately, when you combine them, they become more toxic. And mechanical combination of poisons, you will see action of poison is changed when combined mechanically. That is, for example, an inert substance like alkaloids, or when combined with charcoal, so they become inert. This is a example of mechanical combination. Factor number 5 is method of administration of drugs or poisons. It depends upon route of administration, which I have described before, like inhalation, injection, ingestion, and others. Poisons act more rapid when inhaled. Then after that followed by injections, and especially the IV, then intramuscular, then subcutaneous, and they are slowest when ingested. They are slow to act when ingested, and even more slow when they enter via unbroken skin. So this is important. Their method of administration is important for their effects. Also, same poison may act differently when the route is different or changed. For example, if snake bite, that is an injection type of entry of poison, it may be fatal, but if it is ingested, it may become harmless. Fact number 6 is condition of stomach. Now the poison has more effect, it becomes more toxic when ingested empty stomach than when stomach is full. So full stomach gives some protection from poison. Number 7, condition of the body. It includes 3 things: age of the patient or victim, state of health of the victim, and sleep state of the victim. So age, the poison has greater effect at extremes of age. That means in children and in old people, it has more effect. Same poison will have more effect. If the person is in good health, then he will have less effect of poison. But if the person is in poor health, he will have more effects, more toxic effects of that poison. Coming to sleep and intoxication, in these conditions, the action of poison is delayed or slow down because metabolism slows down. Factor number 8 is temperature of body. So there is change in effect of a poison when temperature increases or decreases. So it may become rapid with increased temperature and may slow down in decreased temperature. And factor number 9 is occupation of a person. It may slow down in industrial settings where the workers get continuous exposure to certain degree of poison, but they also develop some resistance or immunity, so the effect of poisoning becomes slow. So these were the factors discussed today, and with that I conclude my lecture. Thank you.